This is Mark Simone, and on the line is one of the most exciting entertainers in the entire world. Peter Allen is going to be appearing at Caesars in Atlantic City, July 19th, 20th, and 21st. That's this weekend. He'll be at the Concord, July 27th, the Garden State Arts Center, August the 14th. As I said, an exciting performer, brilliant songwriter, fabulous singer, and he's on the line now. Peter Allen, how are you?
I'm fine, Mark. Actually, you should, not that I don't want to push it, but it's a charity thing at Suffern next Friday, the night before the Concord. So Joan Rivers and I and some other people are doing a series out there, for which is actually a charity.
Oh, at the Concord?
No, at Suffern County.
Oh, at Suffern County.
Yeah.
What is the charity?
It's a hospital out there.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So, now, you really are...
I'm doing everything, kind of. I started in Toronto last weekend, and then I end up in Miami in about 6 weeks, so it's down the eastern seaboard this summer.
People may not realize, somebody like you, how much time you must spend on airplanes and in airports.
Well, I'm trying to cut down, I've really tried to cut down this year, and I like that. So now I'm working weekends, and then I get Monday through Thursday, or Monday through Wednesday off, and then I go to where I'm supposed to go for the weekend on Thursday, so.
Well, working weekends sounds easy, but you're talking about 5,000 miles away sometimes.
Well,
So now most people take a trip, they're jet lagged, they can't move for 2 days. When you get somewhere, you've got to perform. How do you overcome that jet lag?
I don't know. I just kind of go, well, the thing is, I lead such weird hours. It's not like I have to get up and go to the office at 9 o'clock, so my hours are so strange anyway. I don't usually change. You sleep a couple of different hours later or earlier or something, but basically when you're working at night, jet lag doesn't affect you quite so much.
So now, let's say somebody cast a spell on you, and all of a sudden you had to...
I would love it.
Well, let's say a curse was put on you, and all of a sudden, for the rest of your life, you had to get up and work 9 to 5 in an office. Would you...
No, I just don't. I've worked.
Would you kill yourself? Would you?
I don't know how I know I'd be fine. Do you know what? It's really funny. Most people think of me as this Mr. Stay. When I'm not working, I'm up at about 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock. This is when I'm not working, and I go to bed about 10:30, 11. I know that sounds weird, but that's what I do when I'm not working.
10:30 or 11?
Is that weird? Oh, I just did that for like 3 weeks out in California.
I'm disillusioned.
I know, it's terrible. I should not tell people that, should I?
So, now, but
that's how I recharge my batteries,
Well, you're on stage. I mean, you're so physical on stage. It's so exciting to watch. Have you ever weighed yourself before and after a show?
I lose about 5 pounds, but it's mainly water weight when I'm doing really heavy shows, then,
That's unbelievable. Now, so I imagine that's enough exercise. You don't have to do anything else during the day to keep in shape.
Well, you got to warm up for it,
And let's say somebody just tied you to a chair for a whole show. You couldn't move a muscle.
That's what I used to do, actually. For me to just sit the only problem is everyone gets bored. The audience gets bored after 10 ballads in a row, and then I get bored after 10 ballads in a row. So all that jumping around is just really to have the audience then, while they're laughing at me doing all that stuff, is to sit down and listen to the songs that I write.
It's not just jumping around. You've really made it into just a brilliant art. Deaf people can go to your concerts and have a great time.
I've had blind people. Diane Shore comes. She loves it.
Huh. So now, and of course, you're also a great songwriter. And where do you find time to write with all this traveling?
Well, I can write. It's funny because people think that when I take time off and there I am with a grand piano overlooking the ocean and all that stuff that I would write a lot of songs. It's not. It's when I get back on the plane the next day and start getting excited about working and stuff. That's when I start writing, on paper napkins.
Can you write a song on a plane?
I've written so many. I wrote a song called On Planes. That's where I wrote When You Get Caught Between Them in New York City. I was written on a plane.
How do you write music on a plane without an instrument?
I can't read music anyway.
You're a total fraud.
I can't read music.
How do you write it down then? You just remember the melody?
No, I can scribble down, I think. But if you put music down in front of me and I sit down in front of it, I can't play it. I'm not like Marvin Hamlish or someone who could do that.
What's it?
I was always able to play by ear. So when I was supposed to be taking lessons, I would just learn it in my head and then pretend to read it when I took the lesson. And I fooled a lot of people. But what happened was I never learned to read music.
Wow. We're talking with Peter Allen. It's always amazed me. There's so many songs in the world that anybody could write a melody that doesn't already exist.
I don't think they can. It's getting harder now because, I mean, when you think about the number one record in America is I Want to Sex You Up, it's a little depressing when you sit down and think, well, what am I going to write now, you know? They've kind of said it all.
Now, you've written some songs that, of course, become great standards. Have you ever been somewhere or heard a record of your song by somebody that you thought was just terrible?
If they're really terrible, I mean, people are smart enough that they don't play the record. But, I mean, I've actually gone to a couple of live performances where they did some pretty bizarre renderings of my numbers. But you'd smile and say, that was lovely, thank you. Because, you know, they went to the trouble to sing your song. I think it's nice.
Now, before you got started, were there singers you admired that you always wanted to be a little like?
Yeah, Little Richard I loved. Fats Waller I loved when I was a kid. And then, you know, and then it got to be the point of Elvis and stuff like that. And then I went through all these other weird periods where I listened to a lot of jazz, June Christie and Stan Kenton and the Four Freshmen. I went through that period, and then, you know. So the influences and then I met Judy Garland, and I got into that stuff. So the influences have been very varied, you know.
Well, it's interesting because your audience is made up of so many different types of people, every age group, and I mean, it's amazing.
Well, I think of them as individuals rather than, and that's really nice. Is why that they're still around. You know, it wasn't ever a cult thing that I was a cute 21-year-old or something that dragged in all these people all of a sudden. It was like a conscious decision of most of the people that come to see me to say, let's go see Peter, I think we'll have a good time and stuff like that. And so the audience makes a conscious, independent decision. It's not like the media says, this is the thing to do this year or anything.
Yeah. Well, now, you grew up in Australia. Was there such a thing as Australian music?
Not really. When I started to write songs, I wrote a song called Tenterfield Sadler, and then I wrote a song called I Still Call Australia Home, which became the Qantas commercial. And up until then, Australians had been a little self-conscious about celebrating the country. And, I mean, they didn't get a lot of pride until about 10 years ago because we were always thought that America and England were the two great showbiz pals and all that stuff. So when all the Australians, from Olivia to you know, and all the way up to the rock groups now that come out of Australia, it was very exciting for us to find out that the rest of the world really liked what we did.
So I guess they like Crocodile Dundee in Australia.
Well, sure, of course. You know, he gave us, the rest of the world, an image that they loved.
Well, Peter Allen, it's always great to talk to you. So you'll be at Caesars in Atlantic City this weekend, July 19th, 20th, and 21st.
And then Suffern County in the Concord next weekend, and then
the Garden State Arts Center on August the 14th.
Yeah, you can't miss me on the coast.
So that'll keep you busy for a while.
On the eastern seaboard, yep.
Well, it's always great to talk to you.
You too, Mark.
Keep up the great work, and thanks for being with us.
Okay, and I mean, I want to thank you for introducing me at Carnegie Hall that time. That was a wonderful time.
Now, that was a lot of fun.
It was fun, yeah.
I didn't realize when I did that what a star-studded audience that was till I read in the paper the next day who was there.
And then you got nervous, huh?
Yeah. I'm glad it was in the paper the next day. But thanks a lot for being with us.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's the great Peter Allen on WNEW AM.